Good evening. This is a Park and Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, February 26th of 26. I call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and if we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is approval of the minutes from the January meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Unfinished business, we have update on park impact fees. And Mike, you're going to head that up?
Yep, I will take that. Tonight, last month we talked about impact fees, the history of it, kind of where we were, where we've been, and what we're doing now. So tonight, I'm just going to give a quick update because the process might take a little bit longer than originally anticipated. Basically, what we're going to look at doing is hiring a consultant to help us determine what the proper impact fee would be. Right now, the city is looking at, or all of us, we are looking at park impact fees. City administration is also looking at other impact fees at the same time. So instead of just evaluating park impact fees with a consultant or just with the commission or the council, they're going to look at other impact fees that the city has for new developments, residential developments, things like that. So instead of just kind of picking one topic and getting a solution, kind of combine them. That way, when we do hire a consultant, we end up saving money anyways. With the consultant process, basically, the consultant's going to look at what we currently have, what our needs are, what our future is. What do we currently have for park property, active recreation parks? Where are we going to be in the future, the near future, and then down the line? I mean, we're talking 10, 15, 20, 30 years down the line. That way they can take a look at our population demographics, what else we have in the community, and what would be the appropriate, basically the appropriate charge, for a residential unit for those impact fees. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We met with John Fellows, our development director, because I wanted to make sure John was part of the discussion because he knows the appetite of developers and things like that, and obviously our city administrator. And we finally all had to try. We'd met 2 weeks ago and again this week. And our city administrator asked us to move forward with hiring a consultant. As far as funding goes, we would probably use contingency funding that the city has in a budget. Basically, the city administrator, as part of the budget every year, they always kind of leave, basically contingency for things that come up. And this would be one of those items. So that's where we're at right now, just kind of a quick, update.
Separate from the parks budget.
Separate from the parks budget, yeah. It would not come out of a park budget.
Nice.
It basically, an admin budget is where the money would come from, yep.
Thank you.
So,
It's a good idea to use a consultant. Not that we just come up with some number, or at least this is.
yeah, and the consultant, they'll put it in formulas and things like that. They're gonna do things I wouldn't even know where I could start it and whatever, but it wouldn't be accurate thing, and all that. And I mean, these are fees we're gonna be charging our future customers, our future residents. We want to make sure that if wherever these fees land, that they're accurate. Also, one other thing I should mention, our current ordinance needs specifically for impact fees is way out of date, just like our fees and things like that. So that all needs to be updated and kind of revamped. So it's a great exercise to a good solution of, we just need to update what we currently have. That's for us, and then admin and whatever else, they're looking at some other potential fees. And they just want to make sure, again, same scenario, they want to make sure that when we move things forward, we're charging appropriate fees and costs and all that stuff, so, yeah.
Will the consultant have ideas about how to change the ordinance
Oh, yeah.
related to that too?
Yep.
Okay.
So
That's
we
all-
would use a
that's all the
consultant
same
for
budget.
that, and then we would also use a city attorney for that process.
Of course,
Yep.
right, yeah.
Yep.
Make sure we have inflation clauses built into it so that we don't have to do this every.
Yep, and that's what we're looking at is I think I took a look at well over 20 communities throughout the state. I looked at some that population-wise are close to us and just geographically, because what Wausau is doing might be a little different than what we're doing here in southeastern Wisconsin, but population gets close. So, I looked at the Menominee Falls and Port Washington, Grafton, et cetera, and they're all over the place. And again, part of it is their communities' wants and needs and how they fund things. There's communities out there, I can tell you, Sun Prairie, I can't remember the specific dollar amount for their impact fees, but it was dramatically less than ours, and they borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for park projects. So why do they do it that way? I don't know. That's what I saw on their website, that's what I saw on a piece of paper. The reasons and the methods behind it all, I have no idea. So every people are like, hey, what are the comparables? Yes, you can look at the numbers, but Justice does one thing one way and Carr does one thing and everyone's just a little bit different. So are there comparables out there? Sure, but every community's kind of doing things a little different.
That's a bit my concern though, is that our park square footage, our park density is already so extreme. Is it gonna be hard to find that kind of comp?
No, I don't think so. Right now, for a community of 32,000, our park system's 13,000 or 1,342 acres. The number of parks we have, it's higher than average. It is. We can't change that. That's what
So it should be, yeah. Yeah, it's a
that's
good
how
thing,
we've
yeah.
grown. That's been the wants and the needs of the community for 80 years or 70 years or whatever. But with the impact fees and I'll get into it a little bit later, our park and open space plan, I think some of that's changing just a little bit, and I'm gonna use Parkside O for an example. As we've talked about Parkside O on the commission level. We have all these residential developments showing up now in the south end of the city. Instead of building 3 neighborhood parks, we're gonna focus on the one park, on the property we already own. And I can see that being something we're gonna grab onto for the future. Instead of neighborhood park, maybe just a little bit more regional, maybe some connector trails, things like that. So that way the kids can still get on their bikes and go ride to the park. We still want that. And maybe we can do that with a trail and get them to a larger regional park. So yeah, that's,
Do you know in 2002, did they use a consultant, or where did they come up
they
with that
did.
number?
Actually, they did, and they also use Sewer Pack. And that's also part of my discussion tonight. I can talk about it now. I can shorten it all up for later. Sewer Pack is our southeastern Wisconsin regional planning basically consultant. They are the ones who work with every community in southeastern Wisconsin. You need to do a water study, a water management study, a floodplain study, anything like that, you can work with them. Sewer Pack actually wrote our last park and open space plan for us. It still costs, instead of hiring a consultant for $100,000, Sewer Pack could do it for like 30, just dramatically less. They have all the information that you could ever imagine, demographics, age, et cetera, population growth. They don't look at your community, they look at your community, your county, and the surrounds. They look at state and national averages. We are no longer part of Sewer Pack because Washington County didn't pay the $200 and some thousand to be part of that. So that impacts part of this planning process. So Mike, to answer your question, Sewer Pack did it over 20 years ago. For the impact fees and our park and open space plan. In an effort to expedite our impact fee assessment, we want to do that now. That's why we're going to bring in a consultant right away to do this. And tack on those other potential fees that are non-related to us. The Sewer Pack situation, and we're actually meeting with them, I think 3 weeks. We, the city, to see how and if we can still continue working with them. There'll be fees associated with it and all that. But for us and our park and open space plan update, it would have been awesome to work with them because they do it every day. They have the numbers. This is what they do. And now we're not part of them anymore. So I hope that's answering.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting a little long-winded, but I might as well tell you all this now because it was actually part of our other topic later tonight. So
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, hate to put you through extra work, but it's overdue.
It's
We're gonna be
overdue.
better
Oh,
for it.
yeah. No, it's way over. I'll say it like this. We're not building a river walk this year and all that stuff, so, I mean, now's the time to do it. We can't, and I don't like to kick the can down the road, especially on something like this. And our next topic, tree surety, and with the new residential development coming, looking at Parkside O. And, it's time,
Yep, it'll be good. Thank you. And the next topic is tree surety.
All right, everyone has in front of them, basically just a small worksheet I put out, so just to have the information. I'll run through this. I just wanted to give a highlight tonight because next commission meeting, we will bring it before the commission for a vote. And if it passes the commission in March, then we'll take it before common council. So right now we have 3 planting programs. We have our tree surety program, which is the developers, ultimately the new property owners, the new residential development. They pay for $350 for a tree, per tree to be planted in front of their house once their property's done. These are all street trees. So once their house is built, their land is back to final grade, even if it's not seeded. We add that to our list and we hire a contractor to plant that. This program has been in place for approximately 25 or 26 years. Very popular. You just built a brand new house, you just paid for all that, and now we're gonna show up and plant your street trees for you. Our new residents, our new customers, they really like this program tremendously. So that's our tree surety program. We also plant trees after post-road construction. So whatever roads were reconstructed last year, this spring we replant those roads wherever we have viable planting locations, et cetera, et cetera. The funding for that is, that comes out of our operating budget, comes out of our forestry budget. And then the third planting program is our free street tree program. Someone has a tree in front of their house, it dies for whatever reason, we cut it down, remove the stump, no charge to them. If they want a replacement tree, they can just fill out a quick application and that's how they get their tree replaced. So those are the 3 programs. 2 of them are paid for out of our standard operating budget, and then one is the tree surety. Tree surety at $350 a tree has been in place since 2003. Again, just like our impact fees, it's been out there, and we've had no increases since then. We've been very fortunate over the last 10 plus years. We've had a local contractor that's been able to do our planting for us and has kept us under that $350 mark. The second low bid has been about $535 a tree. So we are overdue to get this increased, things like that. Again, we met with John Fellows, Development Director and City Administration, and we have some proposed fees there to increase in 2026, 2029, and again, after 29, Mr. Walker, every year, just an automatic increase, just like what we would plan on doing for the impact fees. That way, we don't have to revisit this over and over again with the commission or council. And again, we don't wait 20 years to go through a process of increasing these fees. And it's easier to increase things a little bit at a time instead of a large chunk. So, city administrator was very much on board with this, utilizing this as basically new residential development impact fee instead of having to come off the tax base, basically, is what we were looking at. So that's what I have for tree surety.
Thanks. Anybody have any questions for Mike? Thanks, that was a good
Thank you.
update. New business, 2026 Park Rec and Forestry projects. And Rick, you're going to start us out?
Yes, I am. Good evening. On the screen in front of you, you've got the list of 25 projects that we anticipate moving forward with this year. First one I'll highlight is the Ridge Run White Family Cabin. In 2025, we completed an extensive renovation. Our budget, however, fell a little short of accomplishing the roof replacement, and so we've budgeted $15,000 to complete that this year. Anticipate that happening over the summer months. Currently, we are working on the Camp Lodge improvements. These improvements are an interior remodel, replacing paneling, flooring, ceiling, lighting, and a few remaining windows. These click off the last items of our wish list following improvements completed in 2018 with new restrooms and kitchenette, and 2023 with doors, siding repair, and other replacements or improvements. The next project, the All Abilities Playground, is a project that was designed in 2020 through 2022. It has not been quite at the top of our list for fundraising to date, but we see that rising to the top in the next year and a half or so. This project was designed originally for Ridge Run Park. The previous estimate for the playground completed in 2022 was about $1.65 million. Over the past 4 years, we've seen inflation, and we have added additional costs to the updated estimate that you see there of $2.35 million. Those additional costs include constructing a drop-off, rehabilitating existing paving, the parking lot and entry drive into Ridge Run. This is an estimate that would be 2026 construction dollars, does not include escalators for inflation up to the date when we would begin construction, because we're not sure exactly how far out that is. Our target is 2028, I believe. We've been talking about the tree surety account and what's funded. This year's project is going to plant 223 trees. That contract, again, is through Dan Larson Construction. The free street tree request totals 94 trees. Road reconstruction on 2 new streets is 118 trees. Tree surety is only 6 in 1 subdivision on the east side. And 5 will go into city parks for a total contract amount of $56,344, but we do have allowances in the contract for additional watering if weather conditions require that. Next project, Mink Play Lot. We toured this last summer. The existing playground dates back to 1991 and is sorely in need of replacement. We see an outline or a site plan here. The asphalt paths are going to be updated for ADA compliance. And we're going to have 1 new play structure that's designed for ages from 2 to 12, and we'll be replacing the swing set. The overall budget of $100,000 consists of new play and swing set equipment at $56,548 that we are funding, and that includes a game time grant, the manufacturer of $40,561. Also within our budget is the cost of asphalt improvements of $22,080.
Is that gonna, are you gonna look for volunteers again for that build?
We will look for volunteers, yes, but this is not that big a structure. We're not going to have to put out the white net that we have in the past, and so you bet we'll be in touch with you. The Regner entertainment area, the asphalt paving needs some maintenance. We're going to be doing crack filling and a seal coat for the areas around the entertainment buildings, and hopefully also the north parking lot, including restriping. Those same buildings in the entertainment area will receive a fresh coat of paint, try to get that looking a little bit nicer. That work should be done in early May. The archery range improvements will include construction of a ADA accessible parking. Currently, you have to walk from the, near the sewer plant offices over 150 feet, cross a curb to get to the range, so it's not ADA accessible. We applied to the DNR for a range grant, and we're successful. The grant covers 75% of the construction costs. The grantee pays 25%. Those funds will be available come August after a series of approval steps are made, since the money is actually funded through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service through the DNR. The Nature Playground has been very successful so far. We've talked a lot about it, but we've got a couple additional projects lined up for this spring and summer, including construction of an entry archway and a covered bridge that'll be part of the town area that overlooks the Muskrat Pond. We are hoping to complete these items along with a concrete entry walk by mid-July.
Riverside Park Pavilion is getting continued renovation plan for this year. This is our most popular rental. You can see the numbers there of how many rentals we do every year. And really for June and July, we could rent this place 3 and 4 times over every weekend. It's that popular. It's just close proximity to everything a park should be, park rental should be here. So we want to take care of the facility, continue renovations. You can see recent updates there. We can add to that list. A new boiler was installed January 2nd this year because we lost heat. So also has a new boiler. So the renters really love this place. If I tell you the summer, it gets really hot in there, really tough to cool with just a few fans. So the most common feedback we get from renters is, when are you going to put air conditioning in? So we're going to put air conditioning in Riverside Park Pavilion this year. And it's a great year to do it. Kilbourne Avenue is going to be ripped up with construction. So that whole area might be a little dusty and stuff for our weekend renters. Air conditioning inside is going to be great. We don't have to have that dust blowing around with fans and that sort of thing. People coming and going that way, Sue. So it'll be a great year to do it. Installation is scheduled for the spring of 2026, and the cost of $20,874 has come to us through the city capital projects funding. The next item is Rec Track. So Rec Track, this is our splash page. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but the slide you see here, it's each picture takes you, clicking on it takes you to a list of classes within that category. There's a tile for facility reservations. There's also one for videos. The park rentals takes you to a YouTube playlist, which now just this past week includes videos for Ridge Run Park West and East and the White Family Cabin, so you should check that out when you got a chance. As of 2 p.m. today, we also have the digital version of our summer activities booklet. That's just a click away there too. People can start shopping there. Then you also see a dedicated tile for Aqua Park tickets that provides a quick path just to get to that page and purchase Aqua Park tickets. So all the facility reservations, activity registrations, patrons need to have a user account, a household account set up, and you work through that account. But for Aqua Park tickets, we want to make that really fast and convenient through the guest purchase. All they need to enter is their name and email address. So it's really quick and easy. However, in 2025, as you may have heard, we did have some issues. We had several AI bot attacks, brute force credit card testing events we had where our WebTrack platform was used to attempt several 100,000 fraudulent purchases. Because of the activity, our credit card processor shut down our gateway. All those ticket purchases had to be done through phone call in the office. It was busy. So while the WebTrack servers are on-prem, the IT department staff worked to install new firewall protection, constantly changing that and getting it to where we need it to be. So a shout out to Kurt and Alex and Paul in our IT department for their excellent work on this project. We couldn't have done it without them for sure. The web application firewall provides additional security control, which allows finer controls over web traffic specifically. So this is different than any other firewall protection you'd have. Velocity controls AI bots, prevents malicious attacks from abusing web applications specifically. It monitors for abnormal, like non-human activity and just shuts it down before they can get any further on our site. It also blocks something called web scraping, where these bots can't glean information from the web page to train their web models and get past these firewalls. So no one exploits too. So if there is a vulnerability, the web app can, or the app can block the actor before a transaction is attempted. So Paul and IT helped me understand it. It's traditional firewalls are limited in their bot detection, so we need this next level, the securing system, which is specifically designed to protect web applications. And of course, all this comes at a cost. You see there the $7,000 a year. That'll be included in our annual budget moving forward. Considering the amount of revenue, though, that goes through this WebTrack site, you know, all the facility reservations, we did over $90,000 last year, just that alone. The Aqua Park ticket sales, Ryan can give you a figure of that, and all that activity registrations. We need this. We need to protect this WebTrack system so that our customers can just quickly go on and make those transactions on the website. So,
Yeah, I don't even mean to interrupt you, but are you sure we're spending enough?
this is the cost of that.
Is it enough,
specific-
though? Do you feel confident that it's,
Our IT department worked with this company, and that's the cost for the year.
okay?
Yep.
It's significant.
And I'm just gonna jump in, the company we're purchasing this from and managing, helping us manage this, our IT department purchases 2 other products from them. So our costs were actually lowered, because of the additional packaging.
Sure,
Things
sure.
like that, but yeah.
Sure, yeah, 'cause that was a pain in the
Barracuda.
Yeah.
butt for you guys to deal with
I don't wanna
with
do
that
that
issue.
again.
No, it
You
was-
don't wanna have to do that again. Yeah,
Honestly,
if
yeah.
it costs more, freaking do
Yeah.
it, you know?
No, this is, our IT department's
it's enough.
determining this.
Okay.
We get, they're the experts.
Yeah, right,
So,
right. Just,
It's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in, that we
yeah.
have to have that.
Right.
All right, Regner Park, Kuss Field. This year, new bullpens are gonna be installed. First one's gonna be along the first baseline. Park staff will be prepping that area by removing the turf, bringing in stone, doing compaction, getting it ready for the contractor. The contractor will be coming in, doing turf, getting that set up, and then we'll have another contractor, Century Fence, who will be coming in to fence that all off. That'll be just east of the existing dugouts on the outside between the sidewalk and the fence. The existing bullpens, park staff will top dress those, get the existing stone leveled. Contractors coming in and they're gonna be putting artificial turf in there as well. So some fence repairs need to be done in-house. We found out how people were getting on the field when it was locked. There's a little section that they could push a pole just wide enough between the tennis court and the batting tunnels that they could sneak on. So we'll be doing that in-house. Irrigation repair, we've been having some issues with the irrigation on the first baseline. It's pretty much constantly dripping, leaking. Pipes are starting to flex. I got quotes last fall. They were anywhere from $9,500 to $11,000. So we're gonna attack that this spring in-house, and hopefully that'll save us somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. So that'll be done before the season starts. They wanna start practicing on the field March 25th. So everything's moving up pretty quick. Last thing I got for Regner is windscreens are gonna be installed. That was purchased through the baseball group. They will cover the entire outfield fence and a little bit of going down the sides, coming in from the corners. We will install that. Some dugout amenities as well are gonna be installed. Bat and helmet racks, the guard rail modification, the guard rail in front of the dugouts is for Little League, and it's too short. So they have to pull those off and do some welding modifications. The company's gonna come in and take care of all that. And that's what we got going for Regner Kuss.
And in the fall, the 10th Avenue got fixed up too where they park, so hopefully that won't wash
Yeah,
out this
they-
year. That'll be nice.
DPW and BMCI worked on doing that concrete work along there, so yeah. Next one I got, LLC tree planting, Arbor Day volunteer tree planting will be Saturday, April 25th, and that'll be out at the LLC pine tree plantation once again. We're gonna be planting 50 potted trees of multiple native species. We also, in addition to that, have 2 memorial trees that will be planted that morning through the Memorial Tree Program that LLC also has. The trees are planted, staked, mulched, initially watered and fenced that first day. And then going forward, Rick works with the downtown person that does all the pot watering. They also water that for us. Exciting one here, Loch Lorraine Barn. Right now, at the shop, what you see is what we've been doing. Park staff is building 3 new portable bars. The one picture there is the new bar compared to the old bar, which was pallets. So to say this is an upgrade is a complete understatement. So we'll be doing those. Jeff has 2 of those completed. The third one probably will be completed tomorrow, so the bars will be done. And we are also doing 3 new serving tables. Serving tables, well, to get back to the bars first, sorry. The bars are made up of square metal frames that Jeff fabricated in-house. They're covered with rough-cut ash wood, which was reclaimed from a barn that was the roofing from 1890. So you'll see all the old nail holes and everything in that front. So it's pretty cool. It goes with the whole theme out there with LLC. The barn tops are made out of red oak. It's all glued and clamped together. So Jeff's done an absolutely fantastic job on that. The serving tables, those will also be made of red oak. I didn't have a picture of those right now. He just started doing one. These bars have been taking up most of his time, so. Next thing we had is some miscellaneous projects that we're gonna be doing out at LLC. The boardwalk you see there for the UTV bridge, the Lake Loop has a boardwalk on it. Right now, we cannot get the UTV across it, it's too narrow. So we will be looking at what we can do with that. If we do that in-house, there was some talk previously of maybe an Eagle Scout project, it all depends. And then there might be a complete option of taking it all out and doing something different. So, the next one we have is turf replacement. The north side gets really beat down from foot traffic, et cetera, salting in winter, keeping that open. So we'll be topsoiling and seeding that to spruce up the place. I mean, we got 16 weddings there this year. Bird barriers. This past fall, we met with the LLC board. They had some bird barriers made. We were having an issue with bird nesting and bird waste underneath the covered area there. The main beam that goes through there, we put bird spikes up. All it did was help hold the nests in place. So those have been removed. LLC board member had some nice metal, sheet metal, almost looks like a mini A-frame made. And we put those up so that hopefully if the bird sits on it, it'll just slide right off. On the north side, above the serving counter was getting covered with waste, which is just disgusting. So we had another one that they built and it goes right on top of the light fixture so that the bird can never mount on that anymore. Last thing we have, which Rick kind of touched on with what he was talking about with Regner and the crack filling, the barn driveway will also be being looked at as for crack filling and seal coat. Place of origin, historical kiosks. We had some kiosks that were purchased and donated to the Parks Department to bring historical awareness to that location, a place of origin. Late March, early April, Parks will be installing them. We did receive them last week. They're pretty sharp looking. We'll be installing them. It'll just be a nice educational addition to that area so people kind of know the significance of that to the city. Riverside Disc Golf tee pads, right now 18 holes. 9 of them have a short tee pad and a long tee pad. So there's 8 or 9, depending on who you talk to, tee pads that need to go in still to fulfill what the golf guys would like. So right now, Josh Ham and the disc golfers do a lot of donating. You probably hear us talk about donations from them just about every month or every other month. So we're gonna take that money and hopefully some operating funds and see how many of the 8 or 9 that we can either get contracted in. Probably gonna have to be contracted in just because of lack of time on our hands. Riverside baseball dugouts. So Riverside Baseball Thunder got contacted by a group that would like to come in and build dugouts and remove the existing dugouts, and they would donate most of the material cost. They have people to do the carpentry work. All that park staff would have to do would probably be remove existing dugout, bench, maybe do some ground leveling, et cetera, and then probably work with Century Fence after the fact for maybe moving some gate locations. Nothing is set in stone for that right now. West Bend Thunder is trying to still work through that process. So the picture on the right there is what they did work through with their $30,000 worth of fundraising. Those are the batting tunnels that we put in last fall. So you remember them coming to commission, asking for permission to do this. They raised the money. Last fall, we put them in. So we got 2 lanes there, AstroTurf, on the far west side there. You can't see it. There's gonna be 3 other locations for batting. We will be putting up the nets this spring. L-screeds come over. We gotta do some more stone work in there just to kind of level the whole process off, but that's gonna be a huge benefit.
The Library Recreation Center dance floor in both of the rooms was flooded, working chronologically left to right, just focusing on the dance studio. As you can see there, picture was taken the Sunday morning after the flooding, so the water came from the ceiling down. The flooring was all deemed a total loss. We didn't want to go with a synthetic wood floor in there, so we ended up working with Chuck Schrader from Classical Hardwood Floors. His timeline didn't allow him to start until late December. So mid-December, we hauled in 54 4x8 half-inch pieces of plywood down a flight of stairs, then 55 bundles of the oak floor he put in, and then Chuck did his thing of sanding, coating, polishing. So very happy with the outcome there. He wrapped that up right around January 10th, I believe. Aqua Park for this year, with the approval last week, we are purchasing the 14,000 new amenities for Aqua Park. The 3 new obstacles are shown there. The top left one is called Log Jam, basically an elevated balance beam. Top right is called Rocket. You get 4 or 5 people on there. It's kind of like a seesaw back and forth, see who falls off first. And then bottom is the blast bag that Mike Weston will have the inaugural launch off of. Timeline before we get rolling, early April, we are hoping to have tickets available for sale online. Been reaching out to the recurring group visits and kind of proud, I guess, to announce that there's a group that's coming from Madison now because similar operations don't meet their insurance standards because they don't have lifeguards. So something that we should all be proud of, that we're drawing people from 90+ minutes away to come visit. Moving into May, pond will be filled, the initial treatment with Wisconsin Pond and Lake Resources, and we will be installing the inflatables on the 7th. Staff trainings, May 27th through the 4th, and then the beach house will open at 1 p.m. on June 5th with some beer garden festivities, June 5th and June 6th, both from 5 to 9 p.m. Staffing this year, 3 supervisors, 25 lifeguards, and 13 beach house attendants. And skate park, as you all know, we've been working with Grindline. We've went through a couple of revisions of the initial design that we had, so we're on version 2.5 right now. So the picture shows you the latest conceptual design of a 21,770 square foot skate park that is going to hopefully be constructed in 3 or less phases. The current cost estimates that we have, and these will change, I would say right now we're probably at 60 to 70% of the process. So still some fluctuation will occur, but sanitary line replacement that will run through the middle of this, roughly $65,000. You can see the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 breakage of square footage and the approximate cost for those as we sit now. Security camera, $15,000, and then donor recognition, approximately $20,000. So as we sit now, again, things will change, but for all 3 phases and having a world-class skate park in West Bend would cost about $2,315,000. Moving forward, we are going to wait until we get to the 90% design and cost estimates before we start moving on the donation trail. Some exciting news, we do have a verbal commitment from a community member for a 6-figure donation, so that definitely will get the ball rolling, we hope. And the department's goal is to hopefully break ground on phase 1 and hopefully phase 2 simultaneously in 2027. Again, all contingent on donation levels. So that is where we are at with the skate park.
All right, park and open space plan, I kind of mentioned that earlier, sewer pack, et cetera, et cetera. A couple other items with that. When we go through that evaluation process, I mean, we'd evaluate, again, our entire community, populations, growth, future growth, things like that. That would include public review, public meetings. We would use our commission platform for that. Sometimes when they do this, they put together a citizen board to help evaluate this. I don't think we need another citizen board. I think we have one right here with, and again, from different parts of our community and different viewpoints. And that's why I really enjoy our commission ideas, comments, thought process, all that. Also, part of the park and open space plan might be a community survey. Sometimes I don't care for surveys. You got to be careful with them because you can put a survey out there and, hey, what do you want? We want pie in the sky, and well, which we can never afford or whatever it might be. So surveys and public input are awesome. It's just we do a survey on something, we just need to be somewhat careful and just make sure there's some reality in that. So park and open space plan, that topic will be coming back again and again before the commission. Next, please. Oh, and then, I'm sorry, park and open space plan, Parkside O planning. One thing we wanted to mention tonight for Parkside O, at the March commission meeting, we will be bringing a request before the commission to utilize some impact fees to install that water main coming off of South Main Street. Engineering Department, Max has been working diligently on this project along with Kunkel Engineering. They're looking at 2 options, literally an open cut right across Main Street, because of course the water main is on the east side of the road and we need to get it to the west side, or boring under the road. Right now, pre-bid estimates are actually within about $1,500 of each other. The boring aspect is kind of nice because then we don't have to disrupt traffic on South Main when they're doing this work. So that permission to bid will be coming before council soon. I literally got the cost estimates like 2 days ago. Actually, the same day Max had to get the council agenda out. So that's why we didn't have it before commission yet this month, but we still have some time for that and things like that. So again, that would be us using impact fees to stub in our water main into park property this year, because next year, 2027, they're redoing South Main Street from Humar down to Progress. And I don't want to be the guy digging up a brand new road in the future.
The water and sewer?
Just water. All we're gonna do is water, because our future sewer for Parkside O, we can bring off of Esker Drive. Yep. And that's gonna save, honestly, hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in from the south end there. And elevation-wise and all that, Alan, it's gonna work out. We won't need lift stations and all that for anything. If we build high in the park, we will not need any lift stations. We build some restrooms low in the park, then the restrooms would need a lift station or something like that. But we don't like lift stations. They're expensive, they're concerning, and they're expensive. So this, again, the commission will see that in March. And off the top of my head, I think it's like a $64,000 request to get that water main in. So, and with the water main, when they stub it in, they'll end up putting a fire hydrant at, basically at the end of the line. When the park is developed, we don't need that fire hydrant there anymore, so we would end up just reusing it in the park in the future, so. So some of that $64,000 seems expensive to me. It's just the reality of construction costs. And at least the fire hydrant will end up just reusing, repurposing, so. And we were kind of nudging water utility to see what they might have sitting out there on their shelves, what might be used. Why not, you know, we don't, yeah, so. So that's Parkside O. Security cameras, on the left, you can see the open air pavilion at the nature playground. 115 years ago, that was a swine barn. It is an awesome open air pavilion with electricity, counters, benches, et cetera, et cetera. The Lac Loran Friends Board will be sponsoring almost $10,000 to put some cameras on the south end or the left end or left side of the building there as you're looking at that image. In that one camera, $10,000 seems expensive. In that one camera is actually 4 lenses. So it's going to cover the nature playground, the driveway, the barn, and basically the south end of the Marin Center. So it's not just one little camera for $10,000. It's 4 cameras, movable, this and that. And that same system matches all of our other cameras in our parks and water utility buildings, sewer utility, all that. We're all on board, same package. It all goes to PD or Mike's office or Ryan's office. Yep, so, yeah. And then the Riverwalk downtown, we were looking at adding 2 cameras there, one basically going north down the walk, and then the other one south. Commissioner remembers we were looking at putting a sculpture there and things like that, so part of that package would be a camera there. Funding for the Riverwalk camera would come out of the Riverwalk budget. We still have some funding in that budget, so. All right, the last 2 items I'm going to talk about are lighting downtown and Old Settlers Park renovation. This citizen leadership group that was taking the lead on the landscape development downtown, pots and the vegetation in there, also the downtown master plan, the downtown treescape plan, and now downtown lighting plan. All of those folks are helping us financially lead the way and some guidance on these next 2 topics. So we've been working with that group and other members of our downtown, the Bend, Downtown Business Association, things like that, on a master and MOA and a master lighting plan for the downtown, greater downtown area. Same light poles, street light poles, same lights on top of them. The building lighting that they always had, and then some other different ideas, things like that. What would impact us would be, we would look at lighting the 2 pedestrian bridges and West Pocket Park downtown, and as part of that plan. Excuse me, the 2 bridges, we don't have a plan yet for it or anything else like that. It'd probably be some uplighting, maybe some seasonal lighting, things we can change and control. West Pocket Park, when we redid the Riverwalk and Main Street, we never touched West Pocket Park as far as lights go, because we were anticipating a future lighting plan, future changes and all that. And so the light poles in West Pocket Park, those are old and they are in desperate need to be replaced and things like that. So it all ties in together, especially that north pedestrian bridge ties in electrically with West Pocket Park. So the commission will hopefully see some of that come forward yet this year for permission to move forward and then over to council. Funding for the bridges and West Pocket Park would again come out of the Riverwalk budget. So we wouldn't have to borrow money or ask for additional revenues or things like that. Last item that I have is a possible renovation to Old Settlers Park. And when we talk about Old Settlers Park, we also talk about 6th Avenue right next to Old Settlers Park, and even 6th Avenue all the way down to the library. So again, part of the master plan for downtown is with Old Settlers Park, basically a larger footprint. Can we get some restrooms in there? We need more electricity. Obviously, the gazebo has been removed for us, but those insurance funds, we literally have those in an account waiting. But 6th Avenue right next to Old Settlers Park, do we remodel that we can use it for more events and activities downtown, and then also 6th Avenue south of Vest Pocket Park, or 6th Avenue south of Old Settlers Park. As part of the downtown master plan is changing some of the parking and some of the infrastructure down there. So again, with the Old Settlers, when we talk about Old Settlers Park renovation, it's not just a park, it's kind of the greater area down there. So as we move through that planning process, we, obviously the commission would be involved, but we would also ask some probably commissioner or commissioners to be part of that planning process also for some additional input as we go. We want to make sure when we go through that, all parties, all interested parties are involved. I mean, the Bend, the Downtown Business Association, the commission, obviously common council, things like that. So hopefully larger footprint ultimately in the future. Electricity, we need more and more electricity these days for the events. Who knows what's going to happen with the Chris Kindle market? If we're going to continue on 6th Avenue, they need more electricity for that. And you put in that infrastructure and it just opens up possibilities for us. So, and if we're going to redo a park or a street or anything like that, you just do it right the first time because you don't want to dig it up again. And it's more expensive and it becomes embarrassing. So that's really the last item here for projects for this year. I just wanted to note, I mean, our staff just presented 25 plus projects to the commission. Many of these projects have been before the commission for approvals and our common council moving forward. And many of these projects would not be possible without volunteers, volunteer commitment, donations, things like that. And they would certainly not be possible without a talented staff, from administration to recreation, to Dan's guys, Rick, everyone involved. It's easy to hire contractors to do some work and things like that. We don't have unlimited money. And you'll look at like what Jeff's doing with building bars and the irrigation work we want to do over at Kuss Field and things like that. Sometimes our end product, you got to see these bars, end product can be pretty cool at times. So outstanding effort on our staff all the way around. So thank you.
I see that building that's in the picture there is for sale too.
It is. Yep. Yep.
Be nice to acquire that building.
Yeah. It is.
So that's it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions for anybody? All right, thanks a lot. That was very informative. Everybody's busy. Next, we have Carl Kuss Field improvements. Is there something again with that?
Yep. So back in October, we brought before the commission approximately $105,000 worth of improvements with the West Bend Baseball Association. That was the bullpens and the batting tunnels and some gates. We are proposing this evening an additional $44,000 in work proposed by the West Bend Baseball Association. Dan mentioned some of these, the dugout improvements, equipment cabinets, new dugout rails. Other field improvements would include the windscreens for the outfield and some exterior, windscreens for the outfield for the exterior fencing, and then some possible permanent seating between the dugouts and the grandstand. So this evening, we'd like to present the additional $44,000 to the commission for possible approval.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the $44,000. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm newer to this commission. Where does the 44,000 come from?
Donations. So the $105,000 that we talked about in October, and again, an additional $44,000 that we're talking about this evening, those are all donations from the West Bend Baseball Association. They generate revenues off of concessions, general field reservations, things like that. And they are also receiving donations from community members, specifically to be used for these projects. A lot of their donors are the same donors, the original donors from the construction of our existing facility. And these new additions to it, to that facility are kind of finishing the package. There's always more things we can do, but this really puts a finishing touch on that,
Okay,
that
that's what I
facility,
wondered,
yeah.
because I was looking at the MOU,
Yep.
and then there was 100 from WBBA and 100 from the city,
Yep,
and then we approved 105, so is this 44 coming out of that
Yeah.
original
so
100 roughly? or
yeah,
is it-
what's in the MOU is the original the original plan and construction.
Okay.
100,000 came from the school district, 100,000 came from the city to help towards the construction of what we currently have.
Okay.
So the 105,000 last October, and again, tonight's 44,000, those are new new donations for this project. And, I mean, not everything's donated. Dan and staff will be doing some of the work and things like that, so.
Okay.
If we weren't doing that, it would be a $244,000 commitment, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good question. Any other questions or comments? Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have donations.
Take the first donation, Mary Fiegel, our a longtime, well, I think over 50 years, she was our Special Olympics coordinator. Mary passed away at the end of January, and donations in the total amount of $280 were sent to the Special Olympics program here for West Bend. Donations came from Jonathan and Ellen Coutts, Boyd and Kathleen Schleicher, Mark and Connie Meyer-Schroder, Shirley Stang, Jacquelene Shebesta, Stacey Bunkoske, Leah Trapp, and Seth and Geralyn Breunig. So we thank them for remembering Mary Jean Fiegel in this way.
The next donation is $1,250 from Delta Defense. They have been a longtime supporter of the Dirty Ninja Mud Run for Kids. This is for their sponsorship of the 2025 Mud Run. So thank you, Delta Defense, for sponsoring once again. And the next and final donation is $1,500 from the West Bend Community Foundation's Pat and Lori Prescott Fund for an AED device for Regner Beach Operations. The AED that was previously at Regner is now very obsolete. The training DVD has a stamp on it of 2004, so it was honestly shocking that we were still able to get pads because they have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years and batteries for the one that we had. So very appreciative of this new technology at Regner.
Great. Is there a motion to accept the donations?
Move to accept.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. Next, we have special events, no fees. Mike?
All right, again, for no-fee events or even fee-related events, each event is still required to get insurance, also city review and city permit. So it doesn't matter who's hosting the event, those parameters are always in place. So the no-fee events that we are presenting this evening, the first one is Silverbrook School Fun Run, scheduled for June 3rd with a rain date of June 4th. The next event, no-fee event, would be the 2026 Regner Park Beer Garden, which is planned for June 5th and 6th with our Gears organization and our recreation supervisor, Ryan, putting together all the logistics on that. Next event would be the West Bend Little League Lightning Softball Tournament at Quas Creek Park for June 12th through the 14th. Again, the MOU that the city has with the West Bend Athletic Association offers 4 tournaments out at Quas Creek annually at no fee. 2026 Beer Garden, the summer kickoff with our Friends organization, Friends of Park and Recreation, is scheduled for June 19th and 20th in Regner Park at the entertainment area. The next no-fee event would be the Westbury Bank Aqua Park Adult Nights and Regner Beach House Beer Garden. The adult nights are scheduled for June 26th, July 10th, and also July 24th. With that, I will throw in a side note that we do not sell alcohol to swimmers. So sometimes people always ask, How can we sell alcohol or beer to people that are swimming? We don't. As soon as someone buys a beverage, their wristband is removed and they can no longer enter the water. So,
When they're done swimming, then they can have a beverage.
yep. When they're done swimming, they can come and enjoy a beverage with us. What they do on their own time and space and whatever else, that's up to them. We will not sell any alcohol to someone who's going back in the water. We always get that question or comments and things like that, so. 2024 Independence Day celebration. This is hosted by our department. The schedule is there. Again, we will be working with Thunder Baseball. They would be doing a food and beverage in Regner Park. The permit is through the city, but they are responsible for any alcohol permitting, things like that. We do not do that. I don't have a server's license and all that. I'm not going to, not for these events. They will be up in the entertainment area, the Duck Derby with Early Risers Kiwanis. The Westbury Bank Aqua Park will be going on. All that activity in Regner. 7 p.m. again, we will have the DJ and vendors in Riverside Park, and then the fireworks at 9:30. Fireworks again this year are being sponsored by Horicon Bank. So, and if you didn't know, Independence Day is on the 4th of July. So that was
I heard.
This year?
yeah, it is. Next no-fee event is our German night, again hosted by our Friends of Park and Recreation for Wednesday, July 15th. The next no-fee event is Regner Fest, again with our Friends of Park and Recreation, July 17th and 18th. And the last no-fee event, which ties in with Regner Fest, is the 30 Ninja Mud Run for Kids on July 18th. This is, again, sponsored by our department and many of our sponsors, our community sponsors, and about 300 volunteers. So that is what we have for no-fee events.
Move to approve all these events as submitted.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the other events? Fee
Yes,
events?
the fee-related events. The first one is the West Bend Little League Tournament. They utilize Quas Creek Park and Kuss Field. We do not invoice them for utilizing those facilities. Again, we have MOUs for both of those that they can host their tournaments at no charge. But they will also be using the Riverside softball or baseball field. There are always fees related to that, and that $460 is on the commission sheet this evening. Next fee event is the 2026 Homegrown Music Concert scheduled for Saturday, July 12th in Regner Park. Again, the rental fees and permit fees and things like that are noted on the sheet. Again, insurance, permitting, and all that is all the same. And the third and final fee-related event for this evening is Music on Main, scheduled for June 4th through the 27th. And those associated fees are on here. The one thing that is not on this that's a little different than last year is the block party. The Bend is hosting the block party this year. Don't quote me, but I think it's May 29th. And they will not be utilizing Old Settlers Park, so that's why it was not included on here. And also for Music on Main, July 4th. They are not doing anything on July 4th, so some of those, if you would compare this sheet to last year's, which I'm sure Justice did, there's some minor changes.
Okay.
You know me so well.
Second.
Yes.
Alan made a motion. There's a second. Any other discussion? Mary Beth?
I just want to throw a question in there. Maybe it's not the right place, but what are they thinking about Kilbourne Avenue construction this year with the 4th of July? I mean, I live a block from Kilbourne, and it's parked solid from 4 in the afternoon as is.
It's going to be madness.
If Kilbourne's closed, where are people going to park?
Sure. So we've known almost a year in advance, or more than that, because we did part of Kilbourne last year, things like that. So months ago, we started the planning process with city engineering and Kunkel Engineering as they were putting this all together. Geralyn did an outstanding job for prior to January 1st of this year. they made some modifications to our website, so if anyone wants to go and reserve at Riverside Pavilion, you get a warning that basically pops up, like, what, 3 times, I think, or like 300 times, Geralyn? So anyone who's renting the facility, they see that, you know, that's a reality. Also, when you come to get your keys, there's a sign there that says, hey, Kilbourne's gonna be blown up and all that. So that's our initial, hey, everyone, this is coming, this is happening. So we don't want any surprises for our customers. So that's one part of it. The other part is working with Kunkel Engineering and our engineering department. They are required to provide us access into one of the parking lot driveways at all points in time. So if they're working by the west one, obviously we can't get in, then we get access off the east driveway or vice versa. Also, we will need access on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for our facility rentals and just general park use. So a lot of that's already been written in there. July 4th is all of these concerns and everything we're talking about is all literally in the contract. So those contractors are aware that, hey, there's a giant city park here, that we use it. And July 4th is a big deal and all that. So they're not requiring the road to be asphalted by July 4th. We were able to get it done last year by July 4th. I don't know if that's gonna happen this year, but all the manholes will certainly be marked and covered and all that, and gravel leveled, and we'll be able to get, might be a gravel Kilbourne Avenue, but we'll be able to get people in and out and to the parties and all that. We were asked if we could move the fireworks over into Regner, and I said, absolutely not. Safety reasons, and Ryan and Dan just parked $300,000 in giant inflatables over there and all that. So fireworks and inflatables don't go hand in hand. So it's a great question, and we are working through some solid solutions and answers for it. Kilbourne's gonna be a big stretch. It's gonna be blown up and torn up and all that. That's one thing. But with the fireworks and parade and everything else, that just becomes a bigger headache. So if we have the same contractors we had last year, yay us, we're gonna get a great end product, and we might be able to get some asphalt down before July 4th.
Just wondering, since I saw the Father's Day tournament there too.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Yeah, my phone's talking.
They're busy section.
Yep. No, you're right. But they have to provide us access. We have to let them build the road. I mean, and we can't tie their hands behind their backs. They gotta get their work done. But that's why we were asking for that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If the contractor doesn't have any rain days and are on schedule anyways, they're not working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday anyways. But we also want the driveways and the approaches and things like that passable, so we can get in and out and all that. So, no, great question. As we start moving through this, we'll work with communications and get, some updates out and all that. And I guess if I was Common Council rep in that area, I'd maybe want to know what's going on.
Walk away.
So,
Thank you.
no, and Mary, if you do have any questions at times,
Don't ask.
from residents or, anything like that, just let us know. We'd be happy to, address their concerns. But that was another reason why Ryan moved all of our rec programs out of Riverside and put them in Regner. And now he's got Recreation Regner going, and I think it's gonna be an awesome program in Regner. My gut feeling, it's never going back to Riverside, but that's not me, so, yeah.
Thank you.
But the Riverwalk will be open, so
Yep.
you can access the park there.
That'll be open.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thanks. We're at reports. The only thing I have is, anyone listening in TV land, we heard about how everybody's so busy, and we have, with our talented staff, even in the office and everything, building bars and obstacles for the pruning trees. So they're busy, whether, if there's not lawn to be mowed or snow to be plowed, everybody's still busy, so, way to go. Do you have anything?
Just mark your calendars for June 5th and 6th, Regner kickoff, the beer garden. It's a good time.
There was one last year, right?
I don't remember. Yes, there was definitely one.
And you had the adult night?
Sounds like.
And we had
they're
adult
way
night.
over.
And now there's
Yeah, that was
3
the-
adult nights.
No, we don't think we only had one last year, just to try it out. And nobody died, so we gotta have more.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Justice pulled a hammy, but.
Ryan, do you have anything else?
Couple quick things. As I mentioned earlier, the projected staffing for Regner, we are 95% there. I have one supervisor that's up in the air due to some college credits that she could potentially take that would make her need to stay at her university. So working through that, hopefully that'll be solved in the next couple of days. Mud run prep, we have the color picked out. Geralyn's been working with her contacts there. As Dan mentioned last week, did some upgrade to some obstacles, so keep plucking away on that list, reaching out to potential donors. Registration for that and youth theater begins this Sunday, March 1st at 6 a.m. Our theater program is very popular. Last year, all 40 spaces for that filled by 6:08 a.m., so we'll see if we can beat that record this year. The second session of swimming lessons and gymnastics both start this Saturday. Enrollment's looking good in those. Typically, the second session of swimming lessons is more full than the first one because they take the first and then they enroll in the second with the new registrations also. And then the activity guide was submitted today, as Geralyn mentioned earlier, so really proud of everyone on our team and the work that we did to get that done. I think it's, 32 pages of a lot of information and a lot of rendition. So Geralyn and Tanya spend hours and hours and hours looking through all of the numbers, making sure that what they see in the book is going to appear in a logical way on Rec Track for all of our users to give everyone a good experience. So really proud of everybody's efforts making this come together. And Jacob Moeller in our communications department. He's an Adobe wizard. That's what I've got.
Thank you. Any questions for Ryan? Rick, you have anything?
I'll just say that the next few weeks will have me busy lining up quotes and contractors for several of the projects that we highlighted tonight. So that's my agenda for the month.
Busy. Thanks. Any questions? Dan, what do you have?
Couple things. Guys are just about to finish up District 1 with pruning, which includes like west of Regner, River Shores, that whole area. We're gonna pull off pruning then and start to get a jump on things since the weather's been more conducive for us to get into the parks. We're not gonna do cleanups and everything because we're gonna get another snow. So we're just gonna try to move along a little bit quicker. Adam Wald, our new hire, started on Monday. Seems to be fitting in well with the crew. So I'm glad he's there. Seems like he's gonna work out well. That was a good hire.
What position was that?
That was it's another park maintenance, 50% Ridge Run, 50% Forestry, special events, helping out. And I've started the process. I've been starting to get applications for seasonals. We have 4, possibly 5 returning. I got an interview with one of them tomorrow for a new one, but get the word out if you know anybody looking for a summer job. I need at least another 10.
That's what I was wondering, if with people out, are we gonna get an extra guy or two?
Yeah, I'm hoping probably at least 15. So, and if we get more qualified, whatever,
It's full-time?
full-time, 40 hours a week, starts at $16 an hour. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I got going.
It's fun talking about summer. And thanks, Dan. Mike, what do you got?
I got nothing. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. So that's it. Anybody else have anything for good of the order? Otherwise, I'll adjourn. Thank you.